Well, if it isn't K'nekotein, all around good egg and champion of, well, the whole world, I suppose. Word travels fast, my friend. We've heard all about your exploits defeating the Blasphemies that plagued the good people of Eorzea and Duma. Sadly, there are other fell beasts that yet want for slaying, but fear not, our efforts to bring them low proceed apace, and we've had naught but glad tidings from our allies. In fact, we but recently received word from the resistance forces in Bosja that a blasphemy was slain, thanks in no small part to Lord Hien's timely assistance. Perhaps the most surprising report came from Welite, where soldiers led by the infamous Black Wolf fought alongside Alamigan troops for yet another hard-earned victory. Reports from Garlemald, however, suggest another blasphemy threat lurks in the snows, and we received a petition for assistance. Strange, don't you think? When the effects of the final days began to spread in earnest, we encountered a great many monsters in Garlemald, but never a blasphemy. And to make matters worse, they say the Garleans who chose to remain and rebuild have begun transforming into yet more hideous creatures. From what I understand, it was you and your comrades who brought an end to the source of the final days, is that right? Even so, it would appear its effects will linger a while longer. Until this malevolent influence on Akasa subsides, I dare say this won't be the last time we hear of such sightings. As for the blasphemy, we have reason to believe it is a great deal stronger than any we've faced thus far. Your strength and experience would prove quite valuable. If you're willing to help, of course. Truly. Our contacts in Shirabaht will be thrilled to hear it. Though they did not explicitly request your presence, it was clear from the first they were hoping for it. Though if I may be frank, I was not expecting Shirabaht of all places to be so concerned with the present state of Garlemald, what with their strict policies on non-intervention. Perhaps we'll find out the reason before this is all over. But that's an inquiry for another time. I'll not keep you any longer. Once you arrive in Garlemald, I should think the intelligence officer stationed there will be more than happy to apprise you of the situation.
K'nekotein. The K'nekotein. It's an honor to have you with us, Miss. I presume you are come to assist in our hunt for the blasphemy. Maxima and Lucia will be pleased to hear it. If you would come this way.
It is good to see you, K'nekotein. Though I wish it were under more fortuitous circumstances.
We were reluctant to call upon you, knowing you but recently returned from the far reaches of the heavens, but we are no less glad for your aid. Now then, I believe it best if the man who first discovered this blasphemy explained the situation.
K'nekotein. Good. We may forego introductions, then. Thank you for answering our call for assistance. As for the situation at hand, it concerns a joint effort between the Forum and the Loporites to find new purpose for the Moon. While there is no longer need for a vessel to evacuate this star, we believe the Moon may yet prove of use to the people of Etheres. After much contemplation, a rather ingenious proposal was put forward, to transform the Moon into a repository for man's knowledge. An archive of hitherto unseen scale. Shirabaht has long had the honor of boasting incomparable repositories of the world's knowledge, but it is far from perfect. Should calamity befall us, natural or otherwise, the wisdom of ages we have long labored to preserve would be lost. But the Moon is beyond any such risk. What's more, it is beyond the jurisdiction of any one nation. Thus did we consult the allied nations of Eorzea, the Far East, and Radz-at-Han. They agreed to assembling a survey team to take measure of the Moon and its potential as a repository. Our plans for assessment were forestalled, however, by the presence of an entity we believe to be a blasphemy in the Tower of Babel. Claims of Garlean citizens transforming into monsters shortly after its discovery only gave further credence to our initial supposition.
But we've not only ill tidings to share. Reinforcements have been dispatched to aid us in quelling the blasphemy threat.
Lord Artwal and a member of Gridonia's Keepers of the Entwined Serpents have already begun an investigation into the catalyst of these transformations. Though the skies no longer burn, and the spread of this affliction is much curtailed, we must remain vigilant. Until the blasphemy threat has been quelled, Alphino and Alizé have graciously offered to help keep calm the people of Tertian while we attend to the people here.
But the matter of the blasphemy is not so easily resolved, I am afraid.
I should like to join you, if I may. As this endeavor was originally undertaken on Shirabaht's behalf, I feel it is my responsibility to see this through to its conclusion.
Humph. Somehow I should have known you would turn up eventually.
I did not expect to see you here of all places, but I am no less glad for your presence. I presume word of the blasphemy is what brought you here. In which case, I believe it may be best if a member of the reconnaissance team's guard explained the situation.
An acquaintance of yours. I'd heard tell ye were the worldly sort, but bugger me if I know where ye heard my name before. Ahem. I'm just a lowly sword for hire, hoping to fatten my purse with a touch o' mercenary work after taking my leave from Limsa. The job sounded simple enough, but, well, I'm sure ye wouldn't be here if it were, eh? But ye didn't come all this way to hear about me, did ye? The blasphemy we're after is making its nest in the upper reaches of the Tower of Babel. The auxiliary sector, I believe it was. But it wasn't alone, a sizable horde of beasts were circling about like knights protecting their queen. Naturally, we thought to strike from a distance before engaging in earnest, but not a single bullet reached its mark. They were protected by some manner of mystical shroud as far as I could figure. Without a keen eye for magic, I don't see anyone getting through. By the time we understood the futility of the situation, we'd been spotted. Retreat was our only option. Pains me to say it, but there won't be any brute force in our way through this one. My understanding was that, once transformed, these blasphemies are completely devoid of ether. With what energies could it create such a barrier? That's the question, isn't it? My first thought was some heretofore unknown technique for conjuring shields. Needless to say, I'm out of my depth when it comes to matters of magic. Which is precisely why I plan to speak with the Elder Seedseer when she arrives. If anyone can help us find a way to overcome the Blasphemies' protection, it's help. In the meantime, could we trouble you to help with the not-so-small matter of people changing into beasts? The Blasphemies' horde was large enough when first we found it. We can't afford for more to join its ranks. Very well. We shall reconvene with Lord Artwal and discuss strategy. Before you go, there's something else you should know about the tower. From the moment we set foot inside, I could swear there was someone, or something watching us. I shrugged it off, thinking it a figment of my imagination, but in hindsight, I'm not so sure. Nothing to worry ourselves about now, but best keep on your guard when we do finally return to the tower, eh?
Erinvold sends his regards, by the way. He asked me to tell you not to push yourself, but we all know what a waste of breath that'll prove to be.
Lord Hien will be arriving ere long. Aptly dressed for the cold, I should hope. Gosetsu would no doubt count himself fortunate to be absent if he knew we were here.
Gods. What I wouldn't give for a nice, hot bowl of soup. Under normal circumstances, I would never dream of leaving the Elder Seedseer's side, but considering the nature of these blasphemies and the calamity they bring, she insisted a representative for Gridornia precede her arrival. It would appear their investigation into the recent reports of refugees transforming is well underway.
K'nekotein. 'Tis good to have you with us, my friend.
Indeed. The road before us is not an easy one, and a woman of your talents will prove invaluable to our efforts.
We but recently returned from reconnaissance, wherein we made a few rather surprising discoveries. First and foremost, we were pleased to discover that no one residing within Camp Broken Glass or Tertium have turned, no doubt thanks to the concerted efforts of Maximer, Alphino, and Alize. However, we have reason to believe those who did turn all hail from Locus Amonis.
You mean Corvos, the Garleand's ancestral home? The very same. When the ill effects of the final days began to manifest there, a number of Garlean refugees from the region sought sanctuary in Garlemald. But the capital was already in ruins when they arrived. They were offered asylum, but many refused and instead chose to fend for themselves on the outskirts of the city.
We are of a mind to go and speak with them directly if you would care to join us. Perhaps together we can learn what of their recent circumstances has triggered such terrible change among their people.